Next up, we'll go into men's physique. Now, men's physique was another very close contest. It was 1 point between Jeremiah Maxey and Clarence McSpadden. And these two guys have pretty different physiques. They both fit the criteria in different ways. From the front, I thought both of them brought great conditioning. They both had very conditioned cores, nice abs. Jeremiah has a wider structure, okay, while Clarence is a little bit more narrow. However, Clarence was really popping from the front on this day. And I think when you're comparing the two of them, it's still a pretty close pose just because Jeremiah has a better structure and still brought good conditioning. However, Clarence's conditioning from the front, along with his core, everything was really popping. So I would give him the front pose by a hair. Now we turn them around for the back pose. And again, you can really see from the back, even much more so from the front, that Jeremiah has a wider and better structure than Clarence. He still has nice detail through the back. Clarence is definitely more narrow. His lats really don't come out as wide in the back pose. When you see them next to each other, you see. So even though Clarence's detail was probably the best I've seen it this year, the couple shows I've judged him at from the back, Jeremiah still had nice detail and was a good bit wider. So Jeremiah takes the back pose by a little bit. So now we have two guys where they're both taking one pose, not by much. It was 3-2. It was 3-2. The show really, really could have went either way. When a show is 3-2, guys, that means basically another day, another panel. It could be a different result. It could have been 3-2 to Clarence. So super close show with these guys, and you just have to understand that when it's two guys that are fitting the criteria, but also fitting it in a little bit different ways from each other, that's what can happen at a show. So we'll move into third and fourth. Nick Coey and Josh Guidry. Again, it was a 1 point decision for third and fourth. Nick was in shape. He was just a little flat, really, from the front, but he had the best back out of the top four. Then you have Josh, who his structure is okay, but he was in very good shape. But still from the back, he needs more depth. He's a little bit flat from the back. He could also use a little bit more fullness to his chest from the front. He's done a good job of bringing his arms down more from what they were. He used to have really thick arms. So Nick's front is a nice structure. His waist is small. Now his core and his abs and everything could have been popping more. It was just a little bit flat. So again, it comes down to two guys where Nick wins the back. I would say Josh wins the front. And again, you have three judges to two here with two guys fitting the criteria a little bit different ways, but also missing some things where that's why it's a 1 point decision there again between them for third and fourth. And next up, we have women's physique. In first place, we had Evie Rain. Evie looked great at this show. She brought great conditioning. Overall, all of her poses were very strong. The two things that she can work on are adding a little bit more size to her quads and also adding a little bit more definition to her abs, to her core. But overall, she brings a great physique with a great X-frame, very aesthetic, a good back that also has nice depth and detail to it. And overall, she's a very strong poser as well. In second place, we had Alyssa Kiesling. Alyssa brought a great look to this show. She has a very aesthetic physique overall. The main thing she needs to work on bringing up is her back to really match the rest of her physique. So she needs more width and she needs more thickness back there. Also in the back double bicep pose, she could use a little bit more to her hamstrings just so everything stays in balance as she improves the back. Overall, as well, she tends to pose instead of how we want to see the women's physique competitors pose. She poses sometimes more towards bodybuilding. So she needs to make sure she hits the poses the woman's physique way. This will also actually bring out and show her physique off better than what she was doing. Other than that, she has a great overall look. The conditioning was good, and I think she's a dangerous competitor moving forward. In third place, we had Cece Barba. Cece brought another really good overall woman's physique look to this show with great conditioning and good overall muscularity in the size we want to see with women's physique. The main thing she can work on is adding a little bit more width to her lats while also keep bringing her waistline in. She has a little bit of a thicker waist, Also in the back double bicep, she tends to pinch through her traps just a little bit, so she needs to make sure she opens up her lats all the way. But again, I think she brought a great overall look and is another competitor that's going to be dangerous moving forward for the rest of this year to get an Olympia qualification. And in fourth place, we had Sarah Bradley. Again, just like the top three, Sarah brought a great overall look with good conditioning. Her upper body is great. She has a great back with a lot of detail to it. A very, very aesthetic look from the front with good V taper into a nice small waist. She just needs some more overall size to her legs and her glutes as well. Another thing that could help her is from the back, her suit was pulled up a little bit too high. So instead of ending at the upper glute, it was kind of on her lower back. Just adjusting that will actually make her look even better in her poses, especially her back pose, which is already a strength with her upper body. But once she brings her legs up to match the upper body, she's going to be a very, very dangerous competitor. So as you guys heard, I think the second through fourth are all dangerous competitors. They're all good examples of what we're looking for in this category. So if you're confused or have any questions, go look at this top four. It was a great top four. Evie should do great at the Olympia if she brings in a package like this. All their conditioning was the conditioning we want to see with women's physique athletes. All very conditioned, but also not stringy looking, but very full looking because they have muscle behind it. So very full but conditioned muscle for women's physique.